Roaring engines rip the night, burning bright, yeah, no stop. Wheels screaming, spit that fire, dirt and gravel, they pop. Oil slick under the street lights, the shadows start to dance. Adrenaline like thunder, man, give me that last chance. Wednesday night, street fights, racing for the win. Broken steel and busted dreams, we wear it on our skin. Smell the fumes, taste the danger, hold tight to the wheel. This ain't no love song, baby, this is raw real. Crowds gather up like wolves, howling for that speed. Races blood pumping fast, gasoline is all they need. Tracks alive like a monster, the dirt flies and bends. Ruthless turns, hard turns, savage till the night ends. Wednesday night, street fights, racing for the win. Broken steel and busted dreams, we wear it on our skin. Smell the fumes, taste the danger, hold tight to the wheel. This ain't no love song, baby, this is raw real. Underneath the moonlight, crowds roar so loud. Pride's in the throttle, not in faces of a crowd. A brotherhood of metal, sweat, gears that grind. Cross that line or get left behind. Cold air cuts the dawn, still our fires rage. Holding bruises like trophies, exhaling battle cage. The stands are empty now, but the ghosts they remain. This dirt track story sings forever in our veins. Wednesday night, street fights, racing for the win. Broken steel and busted dreams, we wear it on our skin. Smell the fumes, taste the danger, hold tight to the wheel. This ain't no love song, baby, this is raw real.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here again with the Wednesday night street fights. As the Dirt Street Stunts here in the Dirt Warrior Racing League get ready to go to battle here at the always beautiful Cedar Lake Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as each and every one of these drivers, each of these competitors are looking for the win here this evening. Presented to you by the Dirt Warrior Racing League and Grumpy Graphics. Each and every one of these drivers ready to duke it and ready to go to battle. Here in this one is my boy Tyson motherfucking Pancow. What are we talking about here, Pancow? Pancow coming in with another 500 star. Bombing up in the chat, my brother, show the love here in this one. As Sunrise Racing says, Evan Stefanski says 6 of us tonight for the Sunrise Racing League. And man, oh man, we seem to have a big field of drivers here this evening. A full field of cats ready to go to battle as Cody McDonald coming with that share. Mama Bear in the chat. What's good, Mama Bear? Mama Bear. Hello, my boy here. Hello, Mama Bear. My boy Jeremy Bond racing with that heart reaction. Evan Stefanski and Mama Bear all coming in with those heart reactions as we get ready to rumble here from Cedar Lake Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you came here for a show. Well, here you go. It's starting on the pole. It is that 2020 rider, Jeremy Sexton. Then we see Chris Hill, Kyle Moyer, Brian Wells there in that 88 ride. Lon Frank, Seth Castle, Jackie Whaley, Marcos Pace, Jacob Sexton, and Cody McDonald rounding out our top 10. Jeremy Vaughn, Dylan Simmons, Jeremy Akins, Tyson Pankow, J.E. Brown, our top 15 with Jim Renvis, Dakota Proud, Steven Stefanski, Derek Rice, Nathan Trevo, top 20, Evan Stefanski, Tim Taylor, Ryan Howard, Kyle Surratt, Jamie Massey, Philip Sexton, Blake Murray, Richie Yost, Cameron Stefanski, Matt Smith, unfortunately back just outside of the cutoff line here is 29 drivers duking it out here in this one, and out in front and leading the way, it's Jeremy Sexton. Sexton out in front leading the opening laps here at Cedar Lake Speedway. 65 laps on the docket here this evening, and for these drivers it is going to be non-stop racing action here this evening. We may see this one go clean and green, but this racetrack already pretty slick. You can see how decisive these lines are, how you gotta navigate your way around this speedway here. It's already going to be an interesting and a tough one, being a 65 lap race, but now you already add in the slickness that is already built up in this track, and we're going to continue to see it get slicker and slicker here this evening, and drivers are going to have to continue to try to move around. But right now, sitting in that catbird seat, it is that 2020 ride of Jeremy Sexton, as Jeremy leads the way nice and easy down the back straightaway into corner number 3, and out of 4 he will lead the first 5 laps of this race. So the first 5 laps go into that 2020 ride, but right there behind him, Chris Hill having a great run here. Hill rolling there in position number 2. He's looking ready to strike, ready to try to take that race lead away from Jeremy early on in this race, with Brian Wells, Marcos Payson, Kyle Boyer are top 5 here on the Speedway. Lon Franks all the way back there in position number 6. That's down in his inside as they battle door to door here for that 6th position. Cody McDonald right there behind him. Cody's looking ready to bounce up and put that DRS machine up a couple of spots here, maybe inch his way towards the top 5. Jackson Bailey and our boy Tyson Pankow there in that beautiful Bulletproof Motorsports JP Designs, that Dirt Track Junkies 91 ride, rolling there in position number 10 on the racetrack. Jacob Sexton right there behind him, the Tommy Gun Customs, Cocky Floyd Consulting. That beautiful Sexton Paint Body 101 machine rolls back in the 11th position, and there we see one of those Sunrise Racing rides out there on the racetrack, that 33 of Dylan Simmons. Simmons rolling there in that 12th position with Jeremy Aiken right behind him in that lead ride of Jeremy Bond. So here is Jeremy just outside our top 10, looking to try to storm their way towards the front of the pack. Here is Dakota Brown, rolls right there in position at number 15. Another one of the beautiful Sunrise Racing rides out here on the racetrack, trying to drive their way forward. And we do see Jamie Brown out there as well. Jamie back out there on the racetrack. Mr. Brown rolling out there on the Speedway, always looking fresh, always looking good in that beautiful number 1 machine out there on the racetrack. As he rolls back in that 16th spot, we do see Kyle Surratt there in his Bulletproof Motorsports number 18 ride, the JP Designs ride there in 17th, as Jamie Massey now right behind him is Massey in the 1-2 ride here this evening. Now, I know he keeps doing these throwback paint schemes. I'm not sure who the 112 was in the KC Speedworks and Angel Lens team. No Love number 112 machine out there on the racetrack, but he is rolling it, looking pretty out there on the racetrack, and continue to look to try to drive his way closer and closer to the front of the field, as now he's looking to try to move around and navigate himself around one of his old teammates there in Jamie Brown. So Jamie Massey, Jamie Brown door to door now for that 17th position, with Steven Stefanski and that Steve's Lawn Care number 15 ride right behind him. The Sunrise Racing machine trying to drive his way towards the top 10. Jim Revis rounding out our top 20 out there on the racetrack with Derek Rice in the 357 ride, rolling there in position number 21, with Philip Sexton now down to his inside. Evan Stefanski, Tim the Toolman Taylor in that Memphis Grizzlies TNT Racing ride rolls there in 23rd. He's got Evan Stefanski there to his outside, and that Steve's Lawn Care Sunrise Racing 22 looking fresh out there on the Speedway. New paint scheme and looking very good out there on the racetrack for Evan Stefanski as he rolls back in the 23rd spot. Richie Yost has not worked his way closer to the front of the field here. He was slotted to be our pole sitter here this evening. He was quickest in qualifying, unfortunately, for that quick tape race cars number 29 ride. Had to take that EOL win to the back of the pack. He has not really moved his way too far forward as he rolls back in that 25th position. Cameron Stefanski in the Sunrise Racing number 2 ride right there behind him with Blake Murray. Murray also having to take an EOL win to the back of the pack. He rolls there in 27th with Ryan Howard and Nathan Trepo bringing up the rear of the field. There in that 42 ride is another one of those beautiful Sunrise Racing machines as the Witch Doctor out there himself rolling on the racetrack at the back of the pack as we do see our race leader slowly but surely not too far behind him here, and they could potentially start to run into a little bit of lap traffic here this evening at Cedar Lake Speedway, and that is going to put on one heck of a show for all of us to enjoy. A little bit of lap traffic out there on the racetrack could make for an exciting day in the office here and up in the grandstands for all the fans here this evening. As Chris Hill in tow, still trying to hunt down that 2020 ride. Ryan Wells hanging on to third with Kyle Moyer and Marco's Pace nose to tail here for 4th and 5th on the racetrack. That 10 right along, Frank still just outside the top 5 here as he rolls in that 6th position, but he's got Cody McDonald right there in that 4 ride. Seth Castle. He's trying to run that bottom lane, but it looks like that high side starting to prevail, starting to be that more dominant line out there on the racetrack. And for a lot of these drivers, definitely going to want to start to navigate their way towards the top of the pack as we see our first caution flag of the day fly. Caution flag out on the racetrack. We got a couple drivers tied up, tore up, and unfortunately our first yellow flag of the day will be displayed. 22 laps of racing action into the books here this evening before that first caution flag. Actually, technically 23 laps are now complete here this evening as we do see the 2020 ride turned around. We do see the 15 machine also turned sideways here. So we got a bunch of drivers that all of a sudden get tied up here in this one. Looks like Steve Stefanski in that Steve's lawn care ride. Looks like he may be one of the first ones as he rolls in, gets a big bump into the back end there of Jeremy Vaughn, and as he does so, he just gets checked up. The rear end kind of steps out right there as he gets into the back end of Vaughn. Rear end steps out on him. He unfortunately slides sideways, loses a ton of momentum. Jamie Brown not realizing it, not being able to react quick enough. He goes around after getting into that 15 machine. Then you see Philip Sexton in there, nowhere to go. You did see Jim Revis up into the outside fence. Now you see the 22 of Evan Stefanski and all these other drivers trying to navigate their way through it here. Nowhere to go for Cameron Stefanski, the 83 ride of Blake Murray. They all get tied up in it. They all go around. You do see Richie Yost. He gets in there as well, gets a little bit of front end damage himself as he ends up meeting nose to nose there with that 15 machine of Stefanski. As that's who gets it all started. That's where it all starts here in this one. As our first wreck, it was a big wreck, and that was to be expected, honestly. You know that these big wrecks are going to happen when we fill this track full of virtually 30 drivers out there on the racetrack. And all it takes is that one wrong move, that one wrong bump, 2 inches too far, and all of a sudden we see a bunch of drivers getting absolutely tore up. Actually, a couple of big hits right there for Yost, and unfortunately, seen with that 357 ride, gets in there a little later, gets up into the outside fence, and then into that number 15 ride himself here. And man, a lot of carnage, a lot of tore up race cars. Nonetheless, we'll get them all stacked up, we'll get them all racked up, and we will get ready to go after it again. We'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one as Bryce Hill going to get another chance, another opportunity here to try to work to the outside here of Jeremy Sexton. Now on this restart, going to be looking for a big jump, trying to keep him pinned down low and trying to stay to the outside of this 2020 ride. He does a fairly good job, but it does look like Jeremy gets that outside lane open, but Jeremy's going to elect to stay down low. Jeremy stays kind of more into the middle right there, gets a great run down and out of corner number 2, and will hold that race lead down the back straightaway as a whole gaggle of cars back there behind him, chasing them down. 2, 3, 4 wide. Back there throughout the field is everybody trying to race their way to the front of the pack here this evening. A look at Marco's Pace, hugging the tires down low. He is trying to take the shortest way around the racetrack, trying to find a little bit of pay dirt down low and looking to try to work his way to the front of the field as they're 3 wide down across the line still for position number 4 on the racetrack. Kyle Moyer up on the high side. Lon Franks in the middle and Marco's Pace down low. This is a battle for that 4th, 5th, and 6th position as out in front Jeremy Sexton. Once again, just looking to try to pull away from the rest of the field. Chris Hill there in 2nd with Brian Wells back in 3rd, and then we see that battle continuing to brew. Back here for position number 4 on the racetrack. Now we see that number 4 right of Seth Castle. He's poking his nose into that fight. Here comes that 91 of Tyson Pancake. He's racing his way up and into this fight. That Dirt Track Junkies 91 ride rolling right there and out into the 8th position as he rolls to the outside of Cody McDonald. McDonald trying to hold on to position number 9 out there on the Speedway. It's a battle back for 10th as Jackie Whaley rolling the outside lane in his iRacing iFlag TWR. JRE machine, the Grumpy Graphics ride rolls there in position number 10 after taking that 10th position away from Jacob Sexton. And now you start to see that number 6 machine, Jamie Massey. Massey has worked himself up and into 12th, had to take that EOL, went to the rear of the field, but he's working this 1-2 ride to the front of the field as the 1-2 currently sits in that 1-2 position. The 12th ride in that 12th spot on the racetrack, but looking to move up to 11th as he rolls around the inside of Jacob Sexton. Dylan Simmons, Kyle Surratt, and Dakota Brown rounding out our top 15 there in that beautiful white knuckle setup shop. Sunrise Racing, number 19 machine. Jay Maribis right behind him in position number 16. Jeremy Vaughn, Jeremy Ankins, Tim Taylor, and now Blake Murray humping into position number 20 out there on the Speedway as each and every one of these drivers trying to continue to battle and trying to edge their way a little closer through the front of the field, but it is a hornet's nest out there on the racetrack. Looking at what our pole sitter, or who our pole sitter would have been. Richie Yost got tied up in that first, and our only caution flag has a little bit of damage still on that beautiful number 29 ride, and unfortunately he's stuck right back here in the hornet's nest and can't really move too much farther forward right now. He's got to try to find another gear and look to disappear, but right now he rolls back in 23rd, and now going to get some contact there with Cameron Stefanski. Cameron goes around, caution flag back out on the racetrack. Caution flag back out here on the Speedway after contact between the 29 of Richie Yost and the 2 of Cameron Stefanski out there on the Speedway. As yo, my boy Justin Motherfluffin Johnson. What's good, Justin? Justin coming in, showing the big love here in this one. Says, yo, peace. Yo, what's up, Justin? How are you, brother? Coming in, showing the love here in this one with a 200-star bombing in the chat. Coming in with a 200-star bomb here in this one, the 200-star dono. We appreciate that, my boy. Appreciate the love that you show here this evening. It's Justin also coming in with that heart reaction. Tina Sexton with the heart reaction. Craig Michael Deacon with the thumbs up. Johnny Nolan with that thumbs up. My boy Cody Ernest coming in with that heart reaction. James Beaver, Dave Morgan, Rob Stefanski, Evan Monaghan all coming in with those reactions as well. Let's take a look here and break this one down as the 2 ride. The Sunrise Racing Machine trying to roll up here just outside the top 20. He's rolling in behind the 83, gets a little bit loose through the slick stuff, kind of comes down the track a little bit, but the 29 kind of coming up right there, and unfortunately just losing that little bit of speed all of a sudden for the 29 riders. Cannot get onto the binders quick enough, and kind of expecting this 2 ride to either keep washing up the racetrack or roll that middle. All of a sudden he kind of cuts down the racetrack right here, just ever so slightly, enough that he loses that little bit of speed, and the 29 kind of sliding up, the 2 kind of coming down, and all of a sudden they just run out of room in a quick hurry, and he gets right into that left rear quarter panel, spins that 2 right around. You see Philip Sexton and that 15 of Steve Stefanski all getting a little damage into that one as Cameron unfortunately goes around, and another one of his Sunrise Racing teammates getting some damage out of that as him and Steven get tied together, and no problems. We keep it going. We keep her clean and green as here we go back to Green Flag Racing. It is Jeremy Sexton who has that race lead once again. Another big restart for him, and we did see the 29 ride unfortunately come back into the racetrack right as we were going back to Green Flag Racing, and for that 29 of Richie Yost, all of a sudden he is battling just to stay on the lead lap. He is battling door to door here with that 2020 machine, trying to keep himself on the lead lap here this evening. Would love to stay in front of him and see that caution flag fly for the 2020 of Jeremy Sexton. He would love to put that 29 ride a lap down out there on the racetrack as he wants to try to keep that 29 away, and oh baby, that may have hurt. It may have helped the 29, but the caution flag does fly here again in this one. Caution flag will come back out. We'll have to wait and see if Richie can get that wave around and get back onto the lead lap here in this one. Looks like he is going to get that wave and back onto the lead lap here this evening, as we'll keep an eye on Jackie Whaley here in this 720 machine as he's rolling the middle, just battling inside our top 10. Jamie Massey right there behind him. And unfortunately, looks like him and Pankow get tied together up on the high side of the racetrack. Nowhere to go right there for Tyson Pankow. Pankow just gets pancaked up there on the high side of the corner of exit number 2. And unfortunately here, Jackie Whaley going to go around and bring that caution flag back out. You see that 91 getting a great run up on the high side. He's there. He's on the outside. And Jackie, I don't think, realizes it comes up a little bit. They run out of room. Stuffs the 91. Pancakes him up into the outside fence. And Pankow gets some pretty solid damage there into the 720 ride as he's just trying to recollect that car. Unfortunately, it does snap around and go around on him. He does end up bouncing off the 91 and the 19 ride there, getting more damage, and unfortunately not the way you want to be pointed out there on the racetrack. That is never a fun time. Let's see if we can jump on board here with Jackie Whaley and take a look on board with the 720 and see what he can see from the cockpit as he's rolling down through corner 1 and 2. Then all of a sudden down the back straightaway, there's the contact, gets sideways. He's got the wheel cranked. That's what gets him spun around. Bounces it up into the fence, gets bounced off a couple drivers, and that's where he comes to rest, and unfortunately that brings out our caution flag here again in this one, as we will get him stacked up, we will get him racked up, and we will get ready to go back to green flag racing. As Jeremy Sexton, Chris Hill 1 and 2 out there on the racetrack, Brian Wells in third with Kyle Moyer, Lon Franks, Seth Castle, Marcos Pace, Tyson Pankow, our top 8, Jamie Massey now into 9th, and Cody McDonald rounding out our top 10 as here we go back to green flag racing here at Cedar Lake Speedway. Another great restart there for the 2020 ride. Jeremy Sexton, he knows that's what he has to do. Has to get these good restarts and then has to just take away that preferred line out there on the racetrack, and he should be able to hold all these drivers off as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, doesn't bounce it too hard off the wall. He can just run this picture clean race up there on the high side and try to hold these guys back there at bay. But there's a lot of hungry drivers, a lot of fast cats that want to move themselves closer to the front of the field with 24 more laps left to go. It's going to get tougher and tougher and tougher here tonight as this track continues to take on a lot more slickness, a lot more rubber, and definitely going to make this track that much more interesting, especially when we start getting towards our checkered flag. Let's take a look back a little farther again here, as it does look like Jackie Whaley and the 29er Richie Yost, they're going to get tied together here as Richie roll in the middle. The 720 right back there in tow, and you see the 357 hits one of the infield tires here. And unfortunately, as he does, you'll watch that car just go airborne. Rocket launches up into the sky here, right there. Look at that car. Woo! Baby, catwalking down at a corner number 3. Unfortunately, washes up the track into that 4 ride who collects the 29. Spins Richie Yost around. Richie sideways here on the racetrack, just trying to collect that car, but continues to get spun and unfortunately comes right down in front of the 720 of Jackie Whaley. Heavy damage again there for the 29 ride. Heavy damage again for Jackie Whaley as both drivers going to try to get their cars fixed up and ready to rumble here again. Hopefully back out on the racetrack and not going a lap down here in this one. As here we go, getting ready to see that green flag fly come back out here in this one, as nice and easy down through corner number 3 and out of 4. The green flag will be displayed again here this evening. So the green flag back out, another big restart here for Jeremy Sexton, as Sexton gonna look to try to keep all these drivers back there at bay. Look out as the 5H of Chris Hill takes the outside fence. They're all piling up back here. They're all piling up down in corner number 3 and down the back straightaway, and somehow or another we keep it clean and green. I don't know how we stay clean and green right there. I don't know how we have not seen 15 cars get piled up right there. Let's take it back and take a look at that 5H ride of Chris Hill, as Hill unfortunately tanks that outside fence. Big damage here for that 5H ride, having such a great run, rolling in that second position, but down and out of corner number 2. Looks like either tanks the fence or just loses this car as he's trying to roll that outside lane. Oh, get some contact right there. Kyle Moyer gets into him, then he gets into the 88, and that kind of just gets them all bunched together. Oh, man, tight racing here at Cedar Lake Speedway. Everyone trying to get everything they can. You see Chris Hill gets bounced up the track. He's rolling out of the throttle. Chris Hill gets into the back end of him, pushes him up into that outside fence, and then watch this 5H ride continue to slide around. Kyle Moyer almost getting taken out. The 5H virtually turns sideways right there, but looks like he alt F4s and just takes that car right off the racetrack, which may have been one of the blessings here in this race. And unfortunately for a lot of these other drivers, they're just trying to navigate their way through it. The 19 ride of Dakota Proud, unfortunately, he gets some pretty heavy right front damage. See that right front weeble wobble and cannot get this car turned. Washes up into the outside fence. Pretty solid contact there for him, and unfortunately no caution flag, and now back at the rear of the field here in this one. As we did see a few other drivers end up with some issues, and we did see the caution flag shortly thereafter did get displayed. So all that contact, all that chaos did end up bringing the caution flag out. It doesn't show us where it came out, but so much was going on, so many drivers getting bounced around that it was definitely hard to see. But here we go, back to battle. Green flag coming back out after the caution flag was thrown as James Beaver says, pile up. That never happened, laugh out loud. Somehow never happened, but it was definitely there. There was definitely a pile up, and now we may see another one. There goes the 88 right of Wells. Wells turn around down in corner 3 and 4. The caution flag this time will come right out quickly here this evening. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Things are getting spicy here tonight at Cedar Lake Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys came here for a show. Well, here you go, man. This is going to be non-stop crazy action here throughout the evening as you see the 88 through the middle here in corner 1 and 2. Trying to not slide up too far where he runs into Marco's pace, but down low you do see that 1-2 ride of Jamie Massey. Massey right there to his inside. They're 3 wide down into corner number 3, and Massey ends up making a mistake right there. You'll watch that 11 ride on corner entry. He's going to come up the racetrack right here. As he does come up the track, he's going to tag these tractor tires there. They're half buried down low. You see that car jump up into the air. It goes dead straight, and as it does, it washes up into the lap here of the 88, and then Wells trying to stay out of him. Unfortunately, gets nosed into that right rear quarter panel of that 1-2 machine of Jamie Massey. That car's going to go around. Now look at everyone else just trying to avoid him here. Everyone splitting him, everyone trying to find their way around him. Luckily enough, he does not get T-boned with that driver's side door wide open, and that one could have been a whole lot worse in a quick hurry for a lot of these competitors. But luckily enough, we keep it rolling here in this one. As Massey, them tires don't move, Bubba, laugh out loud, says Timothy. What's good, Timothy? Mr. Massamer coming in, showing the love. Massamer showing the love here in this one. How are you, brother? As out in front, Jeremy Sexton has that race lead, but here comes Lon Franks. Franks down low, looking to open the door, looking to try to take this race lead away from the 2020 ride, but in great fashion, cautions, breeding cautions. Here this evening, and the yellow flag will come right back out as soon as we go back to green flag racing. Caution flag right back out into the air. We wouldn't have it any other way at a slick track at Cedar Lake Speedway. So we take a look back and see what happens. As it looks like a few more drivers going to get tied up, and unfortunately the 22 of Evan Stefanski, first one to kind of get bounced around, gets put up into the fence there, has some damage on the front end. Unfortunately, still just trying to catch the handle of that car, ends up into the fence, ramps up over the wall, stops there on the racetrack, and unfortunately for the 22 ride, looks like that may be all she wrote for that beautiful 22 machine. The Steve's Lawn Care Sunrise Racing ride does head down Pear Road. Unfortunately, that car gets absolutely destroyed down in corner number 1 and 2. So another quick caution flag, and we'll get ready for another quick restart here in this one as we'll get ready to go back to battle. We'll get ready to duke it out here, and as we do, we will jump into a quick Peacemaker game and crank it up here for the next restart. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, as we will have 20 laps left to go, and we will crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. The crank it up will not last very long as we were trying to go back to green flag racing. They were right there before we even saw that green flag fly. So the caution flags will come right back out here with no laps completed there, as unfortunately a couple drivers tied up here. We were trying to get going here, up on the high side. It looks like the number, I want to say that is the 2 ride of Cameron Stefanski. Unfortunately, it looks like Cameron and a couple of these other drivers kind of get log jammed up here on the high side of the racetrack. Watch the 2 machine that he's getting stacked up from the cars in front of him. The 4 gets underneath of him, jacks him up, and then they all just keep piling in there. Unfortunately, they want to get that together once these guys go around. You see Jackie Bailey, Jamie Massey, the Trepo ride, the witch doctor himself tore up there as well, and unfortunately these guys still sideways on the racetrack. Here comes our race leaders back around the back straightaway into caution flag. Please come back in. So we will get ready to go back to battle. We will get ready to set them loose again. Here is definitely some cautions out there on the racetrack. What's good, Adam? What's good, Mr. Oxley? How are you, brother? Adam coming in, showing the love here in this one. What is good, my boy? Mr. Oxley showing the love this evening. Adam coming in with the light cover stream. My boy Connor New coming in with that thumbs up on the broadcast as well. How are you, Connor? How you doing this evening, brother? And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, back to green flag racing and back to our Peacemaker Gaming. Rank it up, hopefully, if you roll out. There you see that caution flag coming out as contact between the 2 of Cameron Stefanski and the 88 of Wells, and unfortunately the 2 ride's going to go around, goes down through the infield for a little bit of a slide right there. Luckily enough, he is able to catch that car, keep it somewhat rolling. Unfortunately, rolls back up onto the racetrack, and unfortunately it brings that caution flag right back out as there's the contact 2 coming down, the 88 coming up. Unfortunately, they get tied together, sends him down into the apron, then he gets stopped there on the racetrack, and as soon as that car comes to a stop, that brings that yellow flag out. We also saw the 42 there of Mr. Nathan Trepo go around as well, and that will contribute to that caution flag as we will get them all ready to rumble, ready to roll here once again here in this one as We got them stacked up here again as Jeremy Sexton continues to hang on to the race lead. Jeremy out in front. Lon Franks right there in position number 2. Marco's pace up and into third with Kyle Moyer in the 28 of Cody McDonald, rounding out our top 5 out there on the racetrack. Jim Revis there in 6 with Kyle Surratt, Jeremy Akins, Philip Sexton, and Dylan Simmons. Our top 10 out there on the racetrack is here we go. Back to Green Flag Racing here at Cedar Lake Speedway as Jeremy Sexton leads the way. Our Peacemaker Gaming crank it up. Definitely wasn't going to be cranked up for very long here this evening as Adam says another caution out there on the racetrack. Another caution flag. Hopefully we can keep it clean and green all the way down to the checkered flag and see what these drivers got under their nose and who has the tires, who's got the cojones to try to pick up the dump, but it's not going to last for long as there goes Moyer. Moyer turn around. We do see the 18 down through the infield. Moyer still turned sideways on the racetrack, and the caution flag will fly here once again as cautions continuing to breed cautions here this evening. And unfortunately for Kyle Moyer, he's going to find out the hard way here as that Milner Median Designs iRacing iFlag number 11 ride up on the hindsight here, rolling in about that 5th position, 4th position on the racetrack. Him in the 28 down the back straightaway, end up making some contact there. That's where Kyle Surratt goes around right there down through the infield. Then you see the 11 as he's trying to get that car collected here, trying to get this thing pointed back in the right direction. He's obviously lost a ton of speed and momentum, and unfortunately looks like he was already going around Jim Revis. Actually, I don't even think Jim got a piece of him right there. Jim was able to see that happening, ends up getting onto the binders there himself and able to avoid hitting that number 11 ride as there's the contact. There goes the 11 ride, just trying to hang on to it, and Jeremy Akins gets some damage there. Then you see everyone else piling in there, trying to find their way through it. As heavy damage for the 4 machine there, and for a bunch of other drivers getting some very solid damage up there on the high side of corner 3 and 4. It's another caution flag and another restart on the horizon here this evening from Cedar Lake Speedway. Jeremy Sexton just trying to hold these guys off, trying to hit these restarts perfectly as he rolls in the top spot. He is looking to be that reflection of perfection here this evening. He's led every lap so far here tonight, but Lon Franks, Cody McDonald, Marcos Payson, all these drivers back there behind him looking to try to take the race lead away from the 2020 as here comes Franks there, door to door, down across the line. Lon Franks looking for the race lead here at Cedar Lake Speedway as we are down to only a dozen laps left to go here, just under a dozen laps already, as down across the line it will be 10 laps left to go. 10 more laps left here for that 2020 machine of Jeremy Sexton to try to hold these guys off. And again, he holds off another big charge from Lon Franks, and Franks sits back in position number 2 with Cody McDonald rolling there in 3rd. Marcos Paints in position number 4 now with Jeremy Akins, and Jim Rev is battling here for position number 5. Jim up on the hindsight, Jeremy down the bottom. Looks like Jeremy is going to move his DWR machine up and into that 5th spot, and Jim Revis will slide back into position number 6 as here comes Dylan Simmons as that beautiful Sunrise Racing 33 ride rolls there in 7th. Philip Sexton from deep in the field there in 8th. Tyson Pankow and Jacob Sexton rounding out our top 10, but Jacob may not be in 10th for long as here comes that HNL number 83 of Blake Murray. Murray trying to race his way inside the top 10. So isn't Richie Yost. Jeremy Vaughn, Tim Taylor, Brian Wells all right there ready to pounce. Here comes Jamie Massey and Jackie Whaley trying to race their way back into contention here this evening, but they are running out of time in a quick hurry as the battle at the front continue to heat up, continue to start to put on a little bit of a battle here as Lon Franks down low, getting some good runs down the back straightaway, pulls door to door, dang near even with that 2020 machine, but looks like Jeremy maybe just a little bit stronger. Down through corner 3 and 4, Jim has definitely found something down here in 1 and 2. Unfortunately, those are the set of corners that you don't want that extra speed. You want it down here through 3 and 4 to be able to try to take that race lead away and lead us down across the start-finish line. And now you start to see that 28 ride of Cody McDonald. McDonald's poking his nose into this fight here at the front of the field as well. He'd love to make this a 3-wide battle for the race lead here in the late goings here from Cedar Lake Speedway. Is nice and easy down through 3 and out of 4. still side by side for the race lead. It is 3 laps left to go, but the caution flag is going to fly. Caution flag comes back out here in this one. Caution flag again here late in this race, and that is just going to spice things up that much more. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are going to have a very short run to the checkered flag here in this one, as we'll take a look at the 42. The Witch Doctor ride here looks like he's going to run into some problems down low. As take a look here at the Sunrise Racing ride of Nathan Trepo. Trepo and Jamie Brown just going to get tied together. He drives up into the door of the 1 ride, goes for a loop-de-loop, and the 357 ride of Derek Wright's going to come in and clean him out and finish him off there in that one. As this is some tough contact here. Drivers just trying to hang on to these rides, and unfortunately down low, struggling with that 42, just comes up the track, and the one just running a room up there on the high side. Spins that car around, and then, man, that 357 flew in there and absolutely just killed Nathan Trepo. Luckily enough, he is a doctor, so he can fix himself up out there on the racetrack. Let's see if we can take a look here on board with this number 357 machine, as he's going to send it in there, and unfortunately ends up getting a big piece of that 42 ride. Ends up with some very serious damage here himself. Is what's good, Kev? Hey, it's Kev coming in, showing the love. Here we go. Here's the contact. Oh, man. Big hit. Big hit. That was a heavy one. As here we go. Back to green flag racing. Green flag back into the air. A big restart there for the 2020 ride. A single file restart here inside 10 laps left to go. And for the 2020 ride of Jeremy Sexton, he's hoping that's going to be enough to hold all these drivers off. As down and out of corner number 4, he will see only 2 more laps left to go. 2 more laps here in this one for Jeremy Sexton to be that reflection of perfection here this evening, as he looks to lead us from the green flag to the checkered flag here this evening. Milan Frank's trying to work back down low, as there is the white flag one more time around here in the Dirt Warrior Racing Leagues Wednesday night street fights. Here comes Franks up to the high side. A little bit of a block, some contact there between Sexton and Franks. Door 2, door down, out of 4. It's a drag race back to the line, but Jeremy Sexton hangs on to it and picks up the win here in this one. Jeremy Sexton picking up the dub here this evening. The reflection of perfection has been completed. Leads every lap here this evening. It will park that Tommy Gun Customs, Cocky Floyd Consulting, Sexton Paint and Body 2020 ride up and in to the Cedar Lake Speedway victory lane. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for Jeremy Sexton as he picks up the dub here this evening. Valiant effort there for Lon Franks, coming home in second. And Cody McDonald, great run there for Mr. McDonald, coming up in position number 3 here this evening. And Sans Chem says, not much, dude. I'll be there Sunday for both races. Let's go, baby. Says, gonna go do a dirt race now after watching these guys laugh loud. Brother, go have some fun, man. Go have some fun. It is a blast. Dirt racing is the funnest place to be here on iRacing. He says, what a finish. Clean 2, no dump and run. No dump and run. These guys got a lot of respect for each other up there at the front of the field. They're not going to run each other that dirty. They're going to give them some shots. They're going to try to keep on battling, but they're not just going to, run over top of each other out there on the speedway. For the most part, there's some issues out there. There are definitely a few caution flags, but when you throw 30 of these drivers onto a small track, a slick track like Cedar Lake Speedway, and you make them run 65 laps of racing action, as the tires fade away, the track gets tougher, and unfortunately, with all 30 drivers still out there on the racetrack, a lot of contact and a lot of carnage can happen in a quick hurry, as it is a hornet's nest out there, and you shake them up for 40 laps, it definitely ends up stinging you a few times out there on the speedway with those caution flags. As we'll get ready to pull our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here for their top 3 performances here in this one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. As Dave Morgan says, heck yeah, way to go, Jeremy. Cheered on Mr. Sexton here this evening. James says, great race out there, man, great race. My boy Adam Oxley says, guess what, Adam, I'm gonna say chicken butt. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say chicken butt, brother. As here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our race winner, Jeremy Sexton. Hey, Jeremy, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Not too bad, Jeremy, man. What a run. What a race here this evening, man. The reflection of perfection as you were able to take that race lead early on. And then from that point on, you're able to hold these guys off for all 65 laps. But boy, oh boy, did you have your hands full a couple times out there as you had that fine ride of Chris Hill early on, chasing you down, trying to keep that pressure onto your back bumper. And then late in this race, Lon Frank's giving it everything he's got to try to steal this one away from you. But you're able to hold him off and put yourself up here into the Cedar Lake Speedway victory lane. Even after what seemed to be a absurd amount of caution flags throughout the middle of this race, you were able to just use those restarts to your advantage and hold each and every one of these competitors back there behind you. Take us back through this race, man, and what's going through your mind right now as you park it up in victory lane.
First, without Massey getting the EOL and then Richie volunteering to take a EOL, things wouldn't have played out this way. So I'm not even going to pretend like I could have won it any other way. Those guys, yeah, it was all about track position. I feel it's hard to pass. Hats off to Lon, Cody McDonald, Chris Hill, everybody that raced around me the whole race. They raced super clean, and I hated to see Chris get tangled up, man. I think the world of Chris and was hoping that he'd have a good run.
Yeah, definitely having a
But
great race up there, sitting up in second. A tough break there for Mr. Hill. He's always had some tough luck, and unfortunately, I think he's got that short fuse where if something happens, he has no problem just pulling the trigger and parking that car for the rest of the night. Doesn't jump back out there very often.
yeah, them restarts was killing me at the end. I don't know if I even took a breath the last 30 laps. I knew that those guys were fixing to come charging hard, and feel like I may have pushed too hard early in the beginning, used up some tire, but I guess some of the cautions played in my favor to give me a break in between.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially there in that final caution flag with 3 laps left to go, going to those single file restarts. I mean, was that a little bit more of a blessing there on your side, knowing that at least you weren't going to have Lawn to your outside or to your inside there for that restart?
Yeah, it definitely helped to get a little cushion because I knew he was faster at the end. But like I say, he was racing me so clean, I knew he wasn't going to use me up and run through me to take the win. Like I say, hats off to him and everybody else. Just really good racing. And there for a while, I thought we was going to go most of the race without a yellow. And then once we got one, we got 100.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, those cautions, man, they like to breed cautions. Unfortunately, we had a baker's dozen or so here this evening, or at least it felt like that. It was probably only 6 or 7 caution flags, but they seemed so close together. Obviously, drivers having an issue, and as I said, man, this is a tough racetrack, and it started off pretty slick to start with, and obviously you're on, 30, 40 laps, clean and green, and you work this track in, everyone burning up those tires. These cars become a bit of an animal out there, and this track becomes very, very tough to keep yourself, under control. And when you're running inches apart back there behind you, I don't know if you looked in that mirror, but it was a hornet's nest back there, and these guys were beating and banging and battling. They were 3-4 wide for most of this race back there, and unfortunately, sometimes it just does not work out.
Yeah, I had it off for a good part of the race. JC has told me that I need to make sure and keep it off so I don't pay attention to it. And at one point, I turned it back on and I tried to turn it back off, probably with like 10 to go, 15 to go, and couldn't ever find the button and just left it how it was, left it on. But yeah, I could definitely see them for sure.
Absolutely. Well, it was a blast back there behind you. It was a blast at the front of the field, watching you and Lon and all these other drivers battling for the race win, but you're able to hold them all off and put that 2020 ride back up into victory lane here this evening in the Wednesday night street fights presented by the Dirt Warrior Racing League. Jeremy, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance here this evening?
First and foremost, good Lord God. Without him, none of this is possible. All the guys at Cocky Floyd, JC helped me get to where I'm at now, as well as Jacob and Phillip, Chris Hill, Marco, Seth Castle, Derek Rice. My buddy Brian has started running these cars more now. Just everybody that's a part of helping us get better. My wife for putting up with me on here all the time. And all these guys at DWR and like I say, hats off to Lon, man. He definitely had the car to beat there at the end. I was just in his way. And so it just got lucky and played out this way. You for the broadcast, everybody that watches, my buddy Dave that I work with, he's deaf and he watches every single race that we run that is live streamed. I think that's pretty awesome. Just everybody that makes this deal go round. I know Jim and those guys put a lot of time in it, and glad to see the turnouts that we have here to support them. It's really important, in my opinion, that everybody supports this type stuff in order to keep it around, because without the support, it'll go away, and then we'll be wishing we had it.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes a community out there to make this stuff happen, and we got a heck of a good one here on these Wednesday night street fight races, and obviously with you guys in the entire Cocky Floyd consulting crew and everyone else there with the Sextons and that entire group and all these DWR guys, man, bringing the dirt street stocks hopefully back to life here slowly but surely. And yeah, shout out there to Dave Morgan as well. I always see him in the chat, and you mentioned it last week or whatever, or a couple weeks ago, that he's deaf and watches these races. I never knew that. He's watched for a while, man. I hope that Facebook is pretty good and pretty accurate with the closed captions, so hopefully he can at least read along and hear what we're talking or saying or anything else. I didn't even have the camera on tonight, so I don't know if he's reading lips, but hopefully the closed captions helped him out tonight.
Yeah, he definitely has the ability for the closed caption, and he just loves watching it. It gives him something to do, and he's very supportive of us. Like I say, Jacob also works with us, so this is all we talk about, and pretty much at work every day.
That's awesome, brother. Well, you're going to have a whole week to talk about this one, man, as you park that ride back up and into victory lane. Congratulations, Jeremy, and hopefully have yourself a wonderful night, and we'll see you back out there on the racetrack next Wednesday.
Thank you, man. You have a great night.
You as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for our race winner, Jeremy Sexton. It's Jeremy picking up the checkered flag here in this one. What a run and what a drive there for that 2020 ride. As here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to get ready to pull in our second place driver, the number 10 machine of Lon Franks. Franks coming home here in position number 2. Let's pull Lon up and into the booth. Hey, Lon, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Lon, man, what a run, what a race here for you tonight, man, as that was a hard-fought one, but it looks like that car was a rocket ship late in this race, and you were giving it everything she got, trying to find your way around Jeremy Sexton. Unfortunately, seemed like a couple untimely caution flags, and a couple times just trying to get rocking and rolling, trying to find that groove back out there, and all of a sudden you just run out of time, run out of track, and just could not get it done here in this one, as you had to settle in for a second place run here, man. Take us back through this race and what's going to go through your mind here as you come home in position number 2.
Yeah, it was definitely a good run. I had a good car there at the end, and just saved a little early, and I was kind of stuck on the top to the middle. I was afraid I was kind of burning my shit up, and towards the end, I knew I had a good car, and I could tell Jeremy had burned his shit up pretty good, and I was just trying to find that run, but we'd get a caution, and then it'd take me, a couple laps to get to him to even work him, and then I would just start working him, and the caution would come, and he was doing a hell of a job there. I can tell you what, man, that was some good stuff, dude. I was throwing everything at him I could, man, and man, that was a good win, dude. Well deserved. I mean, that was that was good stuff, man. I'm still pumped.
Yeah, definitely some great racing, some great battling up there. I mean, we looked, and you guys were 2-3 wide for majority of this race, even up there at the front of the field, as we saw you and Cody McDonald, the 4 ride, and so many of these other drivers like Jeremy Akins and Marcos Pace, and so many fast cats up there battling at the front of the field here tonight, man. It looked like you guys were nonstop, just elbows up, battling here this evening, man. Take us back through this race. What's kind of going through your mind right now after so much great driving, even with the caution flags aside? I mean, that was nonstop battling it there on the Speedway.
It was white knuckle from green to checkered. I can tell you that, man. There was no riding around during any point of that. I mean, every lap, every corner, I was trying everything I could just to get up there. I mean, that was man, everybody was racing good. I know we had some cautions, but it wasn't up in the front, man. I mean, that was good stuff. We were 3, 4 wide a lot. Like I was like, holy shit, dude, this is awesome.
Yeah, definitely very, very awesome. Put on a heck of a show for all the fans in the grandstands here this evening, man. And right from the get-go, man, obviously the track started off like, fairly slick state. That middle groove
We
was
let it
already
carry
fairly
tonight.
slick. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we let
I
it
think it
carry,
really
so a little
produced some
different.
great racing out there, man.
I
With,
think it did.
yeah, and all the powers to you, man. Maybe you guys found the key to make a good and a successful race here at Cedar Lake, and not having it just really stay one lane for majority of this race, where normally we see the bottom side worked in early, then everyone migrates to the middle, to the high side, and then kind of just right there till the end, especially in a 65 lap race. We don't tend to see that, good 2, 3, 4 wide battling like we did here tonight, man. But that was a hell of a show, a hell of a battle out there, and Lonnie, you're able to come home inches away from the checkered flag, but in position number 2 here this evening, man. Who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance?
Sure. Yeah, I'd like to thank Jim Revis for all the marketing, all the website stuff, the posts. I mean, he takes care of all that shit, dude. He spends hours on that stuff. So I gotta throw a big shout out to him. Um, my man Jackie, just my partner in crime, me and him brought this back. Jim built it, and we revived it, and so I'm thankful for them. My whole team, all of them, really. But like thank Grumpy Graphics, Viv's Retail Liquor, Nerditudes, iRacing iFlag, SlingingDirt.com, Dirt Panda, 304 Roots, J&D Trucking, Junk Fabrication, JRE. Like I said, my whole team, DWR, you for broadcasting, all the fans, followers, and friends. My wife for letting me spend a couple hours a week doing this. And my buddy Cody on a third place run. I ain't run with him in a while, man. It's a good friend of mine from another league, and I haven't seen him in a while, so it's good to see him come back out. He's a hell of a guy, good racer. So good to see him, and I just want to thank everybody for coming out, man. This is still going strong. Typically, this shit dies off in the summer months with real racing going on, but there's something about it, man. People love it, and the racing's good, and it's killer, and we're hoping to keep it going. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. Hopefully we keep it going non-stop here throughout the summer, giving these guys a home to race every Wednesday night, man, after a great show, great race. And yeah, shout out there to Cody McDonald, our third place driver. We'll pull him up into the booth here shortly, and I believe that's Cody McDonald. I do believe he ran in the Montana iRacing League as well, because I think he's a Montana boy, is he not?
I think you might be correct. Yeah.
I believe it's the same Cody McDonald. Perfect. So it's been a while since I saw him out there on the racetrack as well. I thought that's who it was from the instant that I saw him out there on the racetrack. So great to see him get a solid run here tonight, man. So it's going to be exciting to pull him up there. But Lon, heck of a run, heck of a drive here this evening, brother. And congrats on that second place finish. And hopefully we'll see you right back up here, maybe one spot better next Wednesday.
Yep. Hopefully. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it, man. We'll holler at you later.
Absolutely, brother. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for our second place finisher, Lon Franks, here this evening. Franks coming on with a great run out there on the Speedway as we get ready to pull in our third place finisher, that 28 ride of Cody McDonald. Cody coming home in position number 3. Let's pull him up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Cody, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Cody, man, what a run, what a drive for you out there, man. It seems like it's been a while since we saw you out on the racetrack, but you're tonight picking right up and leaving a lot of these guys back there in your dust as you're able to come home with a solid third place run after what seemed to be a very white knuckle race. A lot of 2, 3, 4 wide racing back there. A little bit of beating and banging, a lot of back and forth, but you're able to navigate yourself up here onto the podium, man. How does it feel?
It feels great. It's been a minute since I've been on you guys' stream and even in the broadcast booth here. I took a little bit of break from the racing, and I'm back, and I'm gonna start racing these every every week with Lon and stuff, and we're good buddies. So I'm gonna be back on the film for a little bit and play some street soccer. But it was a fun race. It was very competitive. There was a little bit of beating banging. I saved it a couple of times, but yeah, it was awesome.
Absolutely, man. Definitely some awesome racing. And now, seeing you from, back, a year or a couple years ago in the Montana iRacing League, now into the Wednesday night street fights, man, does it feel like you've almost gotten that call up from going from, maybe the minor leagues now up to the major leagues here with this caliber of talent out there on the racetrack?
Yeah. It's I think it's pretty cool to see, a lot of people see where I've grown. I started at the bottom, wasn't finishing very good, and now I can kind of be competitive. So it's pretty awesome watching all these guys come on the rig and can make a name for themselves,
Yeah, absolutely, man. As I remember back, a couple years ago watching it there, obviously, you had lots of speed, you had the talent. It sometimes did not work out for you, and we remember seeing the I rating wasn't really that high, and all of a sudden I look up, and, you almost got a 6,700 I rating, man. You've been
I was a 72.
Yeah, that's wild, man. Heck, good job on the grind and working on your craft and continue to get better out there, man. It's awesome to see all that hard work starting to pay off with a solid run here tonight, and I'm sure if you keep showing up every Wednesday night, we're gonna see you up here in victory lane without a doubt here shortly.
Yeah, hope so. I hope so.
Well, brother, man, a great run, a great drive here this evening, a solid third place finish. Cody, who would you like to thank for such a hell of a drive out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, I appreciate you for the broadcast, and appreciate DWRL for putting on the show and letting everyone join up and letting me come in here. So I look forward for some more racing.
Absolutely, brother. Well, we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack next Wednesday from Lernerville Speedway for some more dirt street stock action, and maybe seeing that 28 ride right back up here in the broadcast booth.
All right, I appreciate it.
Absolutely, Cody. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Cody McDonald, as McDonald comes home in position number 3 here this evening. Heck of a run, heck of a drive there for that 28 ride. As each and every one of these competitors, man, they went to war here this evening. That was a hell of a fight out there on the racetrack, non-stop battling, elbows up, door to door, rubbing and scrubbing, 3 wide, 4 wide racing here at Cedar Lake Speedway. And as the dust settles, it's Jeremy Sexton in that 2020 ride who finds himself up and into the Cedar Lake Speedway victory lane here on the front straightaway, celebrating this afternoon. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we hope you guys enjoyed the racing action here this evening. As official Rodjek coming in with that share on the stream and becoming a brand new follower as well. Sean A also becoming a brand new follower and hitting that like on the stream. My boy Matt Smith and my fella friend Mr. Steve Colvada. Steve, how are you, Blimp? Steve coming in, dropping that thumbs up on the broadcast as well. How are you, Steve? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Wednesday night. As unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, as the dust settles here at Cedar Lake, the lights are gonna get ready to be turned off here this evening. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. Everyone coming in with the likes, the comments, the shares, any of the new followers, any of the new subscribers. We appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, showing the love and cheering these drivers on and enjoying some great racing action here at the Dirt Warrior Racing League as another amazing show here for the Wednesday night street fight drivers. Man, that was a hell of a race, hell of a battle, and we can't wait to see these guys back out there onto the racetrack next Wednesday. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, unfortunately that will do it for us here this evening up and into the booth. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and showing the love here in this one. As my boy Jeremy Vaughn says, bye boo, see you next week. See you next week, Jeremy. Can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack, brother. Congrats as well on the top 10 run. And it's only going to get better, and we're going to see that number 8 run, I'm sure without a doubt, back up here in the broadcast booth very, very soon. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace and love, baby. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen.
night burning bright, yeah, no stop. Wheels screaming, spit that fire, dirt and gravel, they pop. Oh, slick under the street lights, the shadows start to dance. Adrenaline like thunder, man, give me that last chance. Wednesday night, street fights, racing for the win. Broken steel and busted dreams, we wear it on our skin. Smell the fumes, taste the danger, hold tight to the wheel. This ain't no love song, baby, this is raw real. Crowds gather up like wolves, howling for that speed. Races blood pumping fast, gasoline is all they need. Tracks alive like a monster, the dirt flies and bends. Ruthless turns, heart turns savage till the night ends. Wednesday night, street fights, racing for the win. Broken steel and busted dreams, we wear it on our skin. Smell the fumes, taste the danger, hold tight to the wheel. This ain't no love song, baby, this is raw real. Underneath the moonlight, crowds roar so loud. Pride's in the throttle, not in faces of a crowd. A brotherhood of metal, sweat, gears that grind. Cross that line or get left behind. Cold air cuts the dawn, still our fires rage. Holding bruises like trophies, exhaling battle cage. The stands are empty now, but the ghosts they remain. This dirt track story sings forever in our veins. Wednesday night, street fights, racing for the win. Broken steel and busted dreams, we wear it on our skin. Smell the fumes, taste the danger, hold tight to the wheel. This ain't no love song.